Hey everybody, welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today I thought it would be fun to have the car join us up here instead of having to squat down next to the car so that you can see both the car and me. But for real, we actually do have this up for a reason. We're putting some sensors in for an AFR gauge, which means that we're gonna be doing some tuning. But before we get into that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and following us on Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports, and following our black M3 build, which is Nikki_Nightmare46, and another Instagram to follow. It is not ours, but it is Revmatch, revmatch.motorsport. They do all of the tunes here on Tenza Motorsports from here on out, and they can do your tune as well. They're absolutely awesomely priced. They do all sorts of crazy stuff: anti-lag, launch control, rolling launch control. I mean, you name it, he can basically do whatever you want. And if you're not sure if your gear or engine can be tuned, shoot him a message and see, because if they can, that's who I'm gonna go through from here on out. And the reason for that is that the tune that was on this car wasn't very good. And Revmatch has been helping me out. And like I said, if you want them to help you out, if you use code TENZA10, you can actually get 10% off your Revmatch orders. Again, that's TENZA10. Let's go back in time to one of my very first videos on YouTube. As you can see here, it's not the most well-documented video, but this is my Active Auto Works Stage 2 Supercharger kit. Yes, very young looking in this video, but this was a very good starting point for me. Always wanted to build a car, document it on YouTube, and this Supercharger kit was the first major modification I've ever done to a car. I had done weight reduction and some wheels and tires, seats, suspension, that kind of stuff, but nothing like super big. And this Active Auto Work kit I thought was a perfect place to start on this car and start documenting. And at the time, and up until recently, I didn't realize that the tune wasn't that great. And I sent it over to Revmatch, and he said that it was the worst tune he's ever seen. Now, I'm not trying to knock Active Auto Work. This was a generic tune that they, okay, here's the kit, but they didn't do any data logging with me. They didn't do any follow-ups or revisions. They just sent me a generic tune. I don't even think they asked me my altitude, nothing like that. No extra questions except for what other modifications have you done to the car. And the only thing I told them was it had a water pump and a bigger radiator. That's the only thing that had been done to the car before this. That is a little frustrating, because when you get to a bigger company like that, they're gonna wanna be in, out, fast, done. You know, they're not gonna be as personable as Revmatch. And that's, again, something that I brought up in my last video, and one of the other reasons why I'm continuing to work with them. I don't feel dumb asking questions. It's a very good personal touch to be able to actually talk to somebody instead of getting a different person every time. Sometimes you get outsourced depending on where your tuning company is from, and I don't like that kind of stuff. The other video I want to look at real quick is the eBay headers that we put on, again, a long time ago. And I'm glad that we left all the bungs in place. So I've got pre and post, even though the posts weren't being used. They get tuned out of most heavily modified cars. And I had a lot of comments saying, well, why didn't you just delete it? Well, I'm glad I didn't, because today we're gonna be doing AFR gauges. Now, as you can see here, I've got a bank 1 and a bank 2, meaning that this kit wasn't cheap. It was a little bit more expensive than just a single sensor kit, but this does come with one upside. Revmatch said that he can tune this a little bit more fine than a single sensor. So yeah, pretty excited about it. I'm not gonna be doing an install on this. It's not anything crazy. We're just gonna be putting these in the headers and then running some wiring. Now, this kit's kind of expensive, so you'll actually see the same kit moved over to the black car when we go to do the supercharger on that, because I'm a little bit short on money. So I'm going to tune this car, data log, be able to read my AFRs, and then when it's time to tune the other car, we'll go send it over there. So enough talking. I want to do some driving in this video. You'll see the car run and drive. I did flash tune it tonight, and I've only started and idled it, and then I had to lift it up to get this installed. So stay tuned. That's coming up real soon. So it's been a few weeks. We are now ready to drive the car. Now, it has not been Revmatch's fault that we have been waiting this long. It's because it won't stop raining outside. It's literally rained every single night as soon as I gotten off of work for almost a month now. And so that means that driving the car, getting data logs, and sending stuff like that back and forth has been difficult to do. So your first couple of revisions, the car is gonna run really weird, rough, and that's fairly normal. You're not gonna get your first revision and then go out and do a bunch of drag races and poles and launch control. I still haven't even unlocked my launch control. So I'm on revision like 6 or 7, and we did have to restart because the injectors that came with the Active Auto Work supercharger kit were not good. So I had to pull those out, and then I actually stole the injectors out of the VF engineering kit that we're gonna be putting in this other car. I had to steal those, and now they are in this one. Holy crap, is it so much better to have somebody who is looking out for you. Revmatch, they're the ones. I would never go with anybody else now that I've had this kind of customer service before. They're quick, they know exactly what they're talking about. I'll bring up a symptom and boom, they know exactly what's going on with the car. And I absolutely love that. So this car has been running so much better than it's ever ran before. And we are gonna get a little bit more horsepower. I'd like to eventually dyno this car. That would obviously be in a different video, but all right. I know everybody's been excited to see me driving. So let's go get that done. And then maybe we'll do a little bit more talking after taking this for a quick spin. All right, so we are back in the shop, and I really apologize if the recordings were kind of shaky. This isn't the best GoPro, and for some reason, it always looks like somebody's licked my lens or something. I don't know why it doesn't look very clear. Anyways, this is so much better. It's not even kind of comparable, and I can guarantee you it's going to produce more horsepower. I am getting a few engine lights. Revmatch can get rid of engine codes. So for example, if you delete your secondary air pump and stuff like that, he can get rid of all of those lights. And I've got a fuel tank evap leak or something like that, which I'm not super worried about because we are eventually getting a new fuel cell in this car. And then I've got a fan switch, which is, you know, I've got it here, so it's probably doesn't like the fact that it can't see the fan through its own harness. Thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to Revmatch. I'll have all their stuff linked in the description below, including the AFR gauge, which I do like so far. If you are going to be doing a true dual exhaust, that's been a fantastic system. Thanks so much for the support and the subscribers, and we'll see everybody in the next video.
Bam!